Welcome, everyone, to the regular meeting of the Arts and Culture Commission. Today's date is Thursday, March 18, 2010. Can we have roll call, please?
Commissioners Deaver,
Yes.
Vanessian,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Wagner,
Present.
Chairperson Kavania.
Here.
The agenda for the March 18th meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside City Hall on March 12th, 2010. Item 2, consent items. At 2A, approval of regular commission meeting minutes from February 18th, 2010 at 2 p.m.
I have one clarification on number 6 under the local collection at Glendale Galleria, that wasn't a partnership between the local collection and the Glendale Art Association, but that they provided an exhibit space and reception for them at the store. Thanks.
And I also have one little correction, and I had to find it. It was just in my staff comment. It was the annual unconcert at Glendale High. That's important. It's the Glendale, not the annual concert. It's the annual unconcert. So, with that,
Okay.
I move approval as corrected. Do we have that? Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Commissioners Deaver,
Yes.
Vanessian,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Wagner,
Yes.
Chairperson Kavania.
Yes. Next item, please.
Item 3, introductions and presentations. At 3A, historic banners and Auto Club vintage images at the Adams Square Mini Gas Station by Arlene Vidor, Historic Preservations Commissioner.
Our first presenter is Arlene Vidor, who I invited to do the presentation of the historical banners and vintage postages at the Adams Square Mini Gas Station. And Arlene is being the full force behind this project. She introduced us this project, and it got supported by the Parks Cultural Affairs, and it's been sponsored, the project, by the Cultural Affairs and Historical Society.
Glendale Historical Society.
Glendale
right.
Historical Society. Arlene Vidor you all know her. She's been very active. She's an artist. She's been involved with the Historical Society and Glendale Historical Society and the Brand Associates. And without her, some of those things will be very hard for us to organize. Just recently, she got elected to be the Historic Preservations Commissioner, and she would like to make her presentation on focusing on how history and the park system can integrate via community project. Welcome, Arlene.
Thank you. Shall I be controlling the slides, or would you like to do it? I can say next slide. How about that? You can. I'll tell you when to advance it. So thank you very much for inviting me, Ripsame. And I just want to clarify that I'm not here on behalf of the Historic Preservation Commission. I'm just here to represent the neighborhood and also the Historical Society, which is a co-sponsor of this exhibit at the park. And I thought on the first slide, which I think is on the television, that I would introduce this project for those who aren't aware of it, that this little 1936 streamlined modern gas station, which had been a fixture in the center of Adams Hill for 80 plus years, was threatened with demolition, and there was a joint effort by the neighborhood, the Historical Society, and the City of Glendale to preserve the station and build a park around it. And that's what happened. In the picture on the upper left, you can see is before renovation, when there was a tremendous neighborhood effort to save the station, and a number of the advocates are pictured in that. And then the second picture below is what the station looks like now as part of this beautiful mini park, which was, I think, commissioned in 2007. I may be wrong about that, but it's been a couple years. So you can advance to the next slide, and I'll start to explain what we've done at the park. We've had one exhibit already. The Historical Society did do a neighborhood history exhibit last year, and that was successful and well received. But we decided that since we want art and history to collide a little bit here, I'll use the word collide because it kind of relates to auto culture. we want to avoid collisions, but in this case, it's a nice collision of art and history. So we decided that we would find replicate some old strip maps from original 1930s Richfield Oil Company maps. These would be the types of road maps that would have been sold at the station, and they have been rendered into 8-foot tall banners, which are now decorating the station. There are 4 of them. So these are the first 2. These were created in the 1930s, and I think what this and the other artwork I'm going to show you really represents is the kind of the golden age of illustration, when magazine covers and covers of maps and all kinds of things were handled very artistically, and a lot of very prominent artists were engaged to create commercial art during the Works Project administration period especially, and that would have been this era. So you see a beautiful rendering of redwood trees and then a California coastline. These are both Richfield Oil Company maps that probably were sold at the little station in Adams Square. Next slide. So anyway, the next slide, when it comes up, will be the other 2 maps. So we have 4 banners, and we're one of them on the left here is a Richfield travel guide map. This would also be a California map. And then this beautiful illustration here is, it's called Let's Go Places, and it was actually a poster advertising the Richfield illustrated maps. During this period, gas was cheap, obviously. Oil companies really competed fiercely for attention, and they used these colorful illustrated maps to lure customers into their stations. So we've put these 4 up. I will acknowledge those who deserve credit for doing this project at the end, but I just wanted you to see the images and hopefully go over to the station and see them in their 8-foot high renderings, so that you can appreciate how nicely they fit into the station and kind of fill it with color. It really did need some help in that regard. Next slide. And then we decided, since we were on the theme of touring and auto culture, we would go to AAA and try to find some AAA magazine covers from the era of the gas station and put those up. So we did identify 6 from the 30s, and these 2 were from the original AAA magazine, which was known until about 1934 as Touring Topics. And these 2 covers were produced by Grace Marion Brown, who was a local commercial artist who was very closely associated with an interesting group of artists and local bohemians headed by Jake Zeitlin at the time. He was a very famous artist who had a rare bookstore in Los Angeles, and a lot of local artists and literary figures got together and held salons with him, and Grace Marion was one of those people. Next slide. And then this one is done by a local artist named Viola French, who was also fairly well known, and she was very famous for her Scotty dog themed artwork, and she did this 1936 Westways cover. Next.
Arlene, did she do the copper tone?
Oh, you know, I think she may have done the copper tone. I'm not sure. I was looking into that. I didn't get any information from Morgan Yates of AAA. He's their historian on that, but I started to research it, and I couldn't identify the artist of the copper tone ad where the little girl is having her panties torn off by somebody, but there is a similarity there. Okay, next image. This one is exceptionally beautiful. This was done by Paul Landacre, who was a very nationally renowned printmaker in his time. This is a woodcut of the Hyperion Bridge, and I don't know if you can see the title of this Westways cover, but it's highlighting the great cities of Southern California, and Glendale is the city of choice here. So since this was the only Westway cover where we could identify Glendale as a topic, we decided to curate this one as well. But, you see that some very well-known artists were employed to create these magazine covers. Next. And this one, which is one of my favorites, was done by Annette Honeywell, who was a very famous L.A. commercial artist and teacher, art teacher here. Many later commercial artists and graphic artists credit her as being their mentor. And this one is actually from, I think, February of 1933. Next, please. And this one was also done by a nationally renowned artist, Alvin Lustig, who you can look up on the internet. His website is quite beautiful and talks about the work he did. He not only was a famous illustrator, but also did a lot of pioneering in typeface design as well. So we thought this was an exceptionally pretty one and should be on display. And then this is the way the gas station looks today. It's very hard to see in this picture, unfortunately, but the 4 banners are up and the images, the 6 images are up. And I think we'd like to continue to add to this exhibit. Unfortunately, what we realize now is that any work on paper is not really going to last more than a day because of the lack of archival environment in the station. So we will be graciously asking you if you could sponsor laminating the images for us so that they will last. Of course, the banners are laminated and are there on permanent exhibition, but the other images are not surviving very well. I'd like to, the slide went away. Well, I'd like to credit some people for helping with this. Certainly Rib Samay has been very helpful, and her team in doing installation, and of course the Parks Department did fund the production of the banners. And we appreciate that. The images from AAA are licensed to the Glendale Historical Society, and the help that I got on identifying the artists came from Morgan Yates at AAA, who's been very supportive of this little project and very helpful to us. So I'd like to thank everybody as well as the neighborhood for their support. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
Regarding lamination of those images, I already talked to some people, and it's going to be handled.
Oh, that's really terrific. Thank you very much. And I have, because of the new information on the artists that's come to light, I have a new exhibit explanation to be mounted in the station because the other one wasn't complete. Well, I would ask you, because you have the keys to the place, to please mount it for us.
Sure.
Thank you.
Happy to. Thank you, Arlene.
Great. Sure. Thank you very much, Arlene. Next item, please. I'm sorry, we have comments, questions. Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Atlantic Richfield should be ARCO. It's currently known as ARCO.
No.
No?
Richfield Oil Corporation was the station at the time, and that was the company in 1930s. So the station is officially known as the Richfield Oil Corporation station, and the images from Richfield that we put up on the banners are from the old Richfield Oil Corporation. Later, there was a merger, and ARCO was created, but ARCO is gone now, and it's now part of British Petroleum. So time marches on, but one of the reasons that we like to talk about Petroleum is because hopefully soon the internal combustion engine in the gas station will be a fragment of history, and we'll get to say, oh, look at that, it's a gas station, and we used to, do that type of thing. So, yes, it was Richfield.
Any other questions or comments?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being a champion of that. It's added a lot to that station. It's great.
And we're always glad to have representation from Adams Hill, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay. We have a fan club over here, Arlene. Next presenter, please.
At 3B, Community Foundation of the was presented by Edna Krinsky.
Okay, our next presenter is Edna Krinsky. She's the executive director of the Community Foundation of the Verdugos, and she's here to talk about their organization and their programs. We're happy to have you here, Edna.
Thank you so much, Commissioners, for allowing us the time to talk a little bit about our foundation. I have with me Stephen Bache, who's one of our Board of Directors. We're putting a focus on an arts and culture interest, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in the slideshow we have about field of interest funds, and that being one of them, and Stephen is heading that up, so that's why I wanted him to be here with us. So perhaps, Ripsame, if you wouldn't mind, could we maybe get the PowerPoint up, and then we can start off. The foundation has been around, since 1956, and we were initially established as the Glendale Community Foundation. And if you can just, there we go to the next slide. Great. Established in honor of Glendale's 50th anniversary at the time by the Tuesday Afternoon Club. And after several decades, we changed our name in 2008 to Community Foundation of the Verdugos, just so that that's more inclusive of the entire region of who we are serving. We are just one of 4 community foundations in Los Angeles County. There's Pasadena, Long Beach, California Community Foundation, and of course us. So we're quite lucky in that sense to have a community foundation that's serving our region. We have made more than $4 million to local nonprofits over the past 50 years, and something we're very proud of is our CF National Standard Seal. This is given out by the the League of National Foundations, and we do have to adhere to certain operational standards in order to have that seal. And what defines a community foundation? We are not a private foundation. We belong to the community. So we take donations in from individuals throughout the community, and that makes us belong to the community in that sense. We are governed by a volunteer board of directors. No one is paid as far as the board of directors goes. And they do represent your neighbors, your friends, across section of our community. And what we as a foundation have to ensure is that the monies that we take in from the community are housed in funds and invested. And we want to make sure then that the money goes back out to the community through grants, and that is to area nonprofits. And we have to ensure that the nonprofits that receive the funding are in good standing. Now, what's the difference between an endowed fund or a non-endowed fund? An endowed fund, as most of you probably are aware, if you're involved in philanthropy, means that you have an original amount of money that stays there. It's called the principal. And any earnings that go beyond that are available then to spend or to be used. In a non-endowed fund, any money that is sitting in a fund, all of it could go out the next day. And in our case with a foundation, whether it's endowed or non-endowed, any of the money going out back to the community must go to a nonprofit organization. Now, keeping in line of talking about endowed funds are much more important and viable to the growth of our foundation. So with that, we wanted to put a focus on endowed funds, and we recently created 7 field of interest funds. And these were designed basically so that anyone can be a philanthropist. You don't have to have a lot of money to start your own fund. Instead, you can give some money to a particular field of interest fund. Go to the next slide. And our 7 field of interest funds allow donors to make an impact in an area of their greatest concern, including, and our next slide, is the Arts and Culture Fund. That is one of our field of interest funds that we'd like to talk a little bit about. And Stephen, do you want to add a little bit now to the intention behind our Arts and Culture Fund and why we're doing this?
Thank you, Edna. The intent is to provide a vehicle for smaller donors, for those that may wish to remain anonymous, for those that don't have the means to establish a substantial fund separately, to support, ideally in perpetuity, arts and culture programs in the city of Glendale and other communities within the service territory of the Community Foundation of the Verdugos.
You can go to the next slide, Gibson. I wanted to add this story about Mr. Milner. Jerry was a former mayor of Glendale, and he has a fund with us, and his fund is endowed, and he happens to love libraries. And so what he's been able to do over the years is he's put in an amount toward an endowed fund, which has grown, and he talks about it being magic. He's been able to build up the whole jazz section of the Glendale Public Library, and he says it's like magic because I can give funding to the library every year. They're able to buy these books, and yet I still still have my fund, and it's still there. The original principal's there, and it's growing. So that's the concept behind the Arts and Culture Fund as well, that it would grow, it would be here in perpetuity for the community. Stephen, you want to talk a little bit about the trickle-down effect?
And I happen to serve on the board of the Glendale Arts as well. The foundation, the community foundation, is not designed to be a competitor to any other organizations, philanthropic and otherwise, in the community. Our purpose is to secure the future of such organizations that serve the community. And lastly, donations, contributions to the foundation are designed to support other community organizations for the long term.
We like to think of it as a pyramid, and somewhat if we're at the pyramid and we're supported at the top, it really does trickle down and benefit everyone at the bottom. So, next slide, please. What we were hoping to do in our goal to expand our Arts and Culture Fund is to work with the city to identify needs that might be related to arts and culture. We are very much looking forward to working with arts and culture-related nonprofits in the community as well to find out what their needs are, to work in collaboration with them. We would like to hopefully be involved in helping to guide some initiatives and work towards strengthening our arts and culture in the city. And we are set up really to provide a secure and perpetual place for donors who do wish to support arts and culture. Right now, the City of Glendale does benefit from the foundation through several funds that have been in operation for many years. Casa Adobe Fund. We have the Glendale City Employees Fund, Friends of the Glendale Public Library Fund, and we have a Veterans Memorial Fund. And all of these funds do generate funds back to the community here in Glendale. And Stephen, I'll let you wrap it up with this final slide on why it's important to support the foundation.
Yeah, the Community Foundation continues to solicit the community for support, not only of our specific efforts to support the arts and culture and other worthy programs, but also to obtain an endowment for the administration of the foundation. And as I think we've said before, the Arts and Culture Fund, the Field of Interest Fund that we're talking about, would provide resources for the arts culture programs in the community in perpetuity. Thank you.
Thank you again for the time that you've enabled us to present this. We feel that, again, we really want to get the word out to the community that the foundation exists here to benefit everyone in the region, the Verdugo region. And if anyone would like any information additional, they can always give us a call and contact us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Edna. Any comments, questions from my colleagues?
I have one. Whoever can answer it. The funds that you are all of the funds that you have now divided up among these 7 fields of interest, or are they, so for instance, the Judy White Fund that has served arts
the
and
Judy
music?
White, the Judy White Fund remains as its own individual fund. These 7 new funds are brand new, and they actually belong in that sense to the foundation. We manage them as endowed funds. We have a green fund to address environmental issues. We have a senior interest fund. We have a children and youth fund. We have a health and human services fund. Stephen, there's 7, and I should have brought the list with me. But the various areas to address specific parts of the community.
Great, thank you.
Just to follow up on that, we currently have 90 funds that are mostly through the generosity of concerned citizens, and as Edna said, we're looking to add others.
And I think you have a focus right now on your green funding as well as at the other program.
That's correct. We're trying to put the focus on green and arts and culture.
Yeah, which I think is a great combination. I think there's a lot of synergy between those two. And Ed and I had actually sat down a couple months ago, maybe it is now, and one of the things I think I'm hoping that the Commission can help with as well is I know you're trying to kind of increase your donor base because these are new funds, and I think if there are opportunities through programs that we are running or other arts nonprofits in the city that we can involve your potential donor base in, by inviting them. I know we have like the open studio tours that we'll be planning. So, for instance, if there are opportunities where some donors might, if they're involved a little bit more directly with those artists and seeing how they set up their studios and how they prepare and how they do their artwork, or if there are receptions, I think things like that, is my understanding, can be helpful in helping potential donors better understand the needs of the arts community, and getting involved with some of the arts organizations, just on a more behind the scenes, so they feel more a part of that and understand where their money is going and what the effects are. And we shared with you the report from the Americans for the Arts and the economic impact and the most recent numbers that we have. And those types of tools help you communicate more directly with folks in the Glendale and surrounding areas.
Absolutely. Our donors are quite often calling us, and they do depend on us to tell them what are the needs in the community, and that is our job as a community foundation. Again, we belong to the community. We're just in the middleman, and we need to link our donors up with organizations and what's happening in the city. And with any assistance you could provide, the tours, that sounds fabulous. I know a lot of our donors would love to probably partake of that. So thank you.
And I was just reminded, one of the things in terms of publicity, we should announce that we do have a website, and it's www. and it's a very long string of words, but it's communityfoundationoftheverdugos.org, and encourage you to visit that site.
Thank you.
A question. Do you have a board that makes a decision on how this money should be disseminated? And do you have open board meetings, or it's just a closed door sessions, or could people come and participate and do, if need be, little presentations to?
We invite public participation at the committee level, but the board makes the decisions in a closed forum.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Next item, please.
Don't forget you.
Item 4, oral communications. Discussion is limited to items not on this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Commission may question the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. Staff may refer the matter for investigation and report.
Okay, I have 2 cards. The first one is Madeline Rackley.
Excuse me. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Madeline Rackley. I'm a resident of West Hollywood, where I also chair the Arts and Cultural Affairs Commission there. So greetings from West Hollywood. But I am here today as board president of the Metropolitan Master Chorale, and I would like to invite you to our upcoming concerts. And I'm especially pleased to announce that the chorale will be joined by your wonderful Glendale Philharmonic Symphony for these concerts. The program includes the title piece, which is Welcome to All the Pleasures by Henry Purcell. We'll be doing 5 Hebrew love songs, the Frim Fram Sauce, Nothing Gonna Stumble My Feet. It's just going to be a magnificent concert. The first performance is this Sunday, March 21st at 3 o'clock at Congregation Kol Ami in West Hollywood. And then the following Sunday at March 28th at Hollywood United Methodist Church at 7. You can get information about these concerts on our website at metrosings.org. But I want to thank you also for your support of the arts and for making it possible for us to collaborate with the Philharmonic. Ruslan Biryakov has said how much the city supports and has been supporting the orchestra, and so we appreciate that. I hope you will be able to join us, and I have materials for you. Should I give them? Sure. So, I brought you some information.
Do you have one extra?
One for each.
Do you have one extra?
I don't. I am sorry. I did not bring an extra copy.
Yeah.
But we would love for you to be there, and thank you again for your support, and look forward to this collaboration with the orchestra and hope that we can do that more in the future. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.
These are addressed to individuals, so you want to get your right one?
Oh, I didn't even. If you could send me one, that would be great.
It's like Christmas presents.
Right there.
We're all being exchanged.
Thank you.
Okay, the next card is Zina Bethune Theater Dance.
Now we know you.
Matter of fact, before I sing, why don't I just distribute this to you?
stuff. More presents.
I think I'm short by one. There are enough of those to go around, but not enough of them.
I don't.
So one is on Veteran Theater Dance, Infinite Dreams. To share. I'll get you more.
Thank you.
We're good at doing that.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for allowing us to come in, and I would love to take this opportunity to thank the Commission for the beautiful commendation that was presented to us through you and the Mayor's office with Armand there on our opening night of Silent War just a month ago. And with me today is Mary Avila, our Development Director of Veteran Theater Dance and Infinite Dreams. And for those of you who may not remember, because we did have a presentation here before, we're a multimedia dance theater. We are celebrating our 30th year. We incorporate multi arts in all that we do, even though our base is dance. And we've toured worldwide. We have commendations happily from 3 presidents and 4 Los Angeles mayors and Senator Dianne Feinstein and the Medal de Excellence from the United Nations in Switzerland. So we've been around, and I'm very proud of that. We are very much about incorporating all the arts within our dance form, and we utilize music, theater, all elements of theater, special effects, multimedia, actors, singers, depends on the piece that we are doing. But we were very proud of this last piece, and I left a review for you. We got a rave review at Glendale Community College. We also have a program called Infinite Dreams, and in fact, we were the very first professional dance theater in America to create a participatory program for disabled youth. And we've been emulated worldwide, and I'm exceedingly proud of that. And we're still a leader in the arts and disability movement and hope to continue that, spreading it widely. But one of the reasons we wanted to talk with you is that Glendale's our new home, and we want to bring here what we hope you want as well, which is a world-class arts organization. And we're very excited about this community and what we see of its signature thus far. We have already begun our relationship with Glendale Community College and hope to utilize all their different departments, and especially their special needs department. And I think that they're hopefully happy about what we can bring to the college. And of course, we love the theater there. And the other thing that we want very much to start right away is our classes with the focus on special needs youth and children. And not only in the elementary, middle, and high schools, but to really bridge the gap, and there is a gap, and it's in all communities, between elementary, middle, and high school and higher education, and especially for special needs, because that bridge isn't there. And we feel it's a very important one to create. So one of the things we want to do, aside from starting in the schools, is create a class, several classes that are independent of the schools, that are in like a Department of Parks and Rec or a city facility or someplace where we're really involved in the city, to really say this is available. This is a vocation you can be in. This is an environment you can enjoy, not only enjoy, but to have a potential career in, for many special needs persons who might not otherwise think that that is possible. And they will work alongside other professional dancers and artists. It's not just a therapy program. Obviously, there's a therapeutic benefit, but that is not the focus. The focus is about inclusion. The focus is about creativity and having a voice and being part of the society. And we're very much about that. That's why a lot of our graduates have toured. They've done our international tours with us. Little boy on there with the crutches, Russell, has been with us since he was 6. He's done all our tours with us. He was in most of all our productions. So they do graduate and stay with us. So I'm very pleased about that. But we want very much to work with you and find out what you are trying to develop in arts and culture and how we can fit that bill. You know, how we can work together to make the community what you want to see happen as well. So I am going to ask if you can help us find a Department of Parks and Rec with a beautiful studio and some place where we can start our classes and make them available to people. Is this the warning bell? That's the warning bell. 1 minute. And ideally, eventually, we want to have our own academy in the community that will draw from many other communities in terms of the artists and the graduates and the type of work that's produced there. Not only dance and theater, but visual arts and graphics and special effects, because we're very involved in that. So that's what we're about, and we're hoping to talk with each of you collectively and independently and just find out what it is you're trying to make happen here as well. Are there any other questions that you might have?
So you already have a relationship with Glendale College.
Yes,
and their special
perform-
ed program.
Yeah, they already have a special needs program with Joy Cook, and we're hoping to be able to sit down with them and talk about, all right, here's what we have to offer. How can we utilize that in what you already have?
Have you been in contact yet with Club Maple with the City of Glendale Parks and Rec?
No, we haven't.
Because that, I would think that would be a certainly a place to start. It's a program for special needs young people, or all people. I'm not sure what their age range is, but
we will definitely check that out
with Parks and Rec.
Good.
So,
oh no, that would be wonderful. And we did produce 2 years ago at the Alex Theater our Ray Bradbury show, Frost and Fire. Yes.
And if you wanted to contact the school district, Dr. Amy Lambert is our Director of Special Education, and it would be Amy Lambert, because there's another A. Lambert.
Oh, okay.
Amy Lambert at GUSD.net. If you wanted to meet up with her to see what the opportunities are there.
Wonderful.
That's my other hat.
Yes. No, we need that input because it's, we're fairly new here, even though we've been in the surrounding area for a number of years, and we are 30 years old, and we've been in a lot of areas, but we really, did a lot of looking, and we really love this community. So we're hoping that you're happy about us being here as well.
Any other questions? Comments?
No, last time we met and it was wonderful, and you're doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have studio space and such previously that you were rehearsing at?
We've primarily rented studio space, pretty much in North Hollywood and Hollywood. This time we rented in Pasadena. It was just closer and easier. Ideally we want our own space, and would love to hook up with an organization where we can help them acquire what they want to acquire, but would also give us a space.
And I think we have done things similar to that, where we have provided spaces for different organizations that have any kind of a program for the multitude of varieties of races and ethnicities that we have in the city, and so we may be able to help with that.
That would be wonderful.
Commissioner Wagner.
The Parks and Recreation office is in the
next building.
I'm not sure if I'm pointing in the right direction, but
Yeah, I think it is.
But you can right on the ground floor,
City Hall.
and in the City Hall building, and you could go in and get some brochures anyway.
Okay.
Actually, you will see Ripsime there to take care.
After the meeting, we'll all take a tour down that way.
Any other questions? No? All right. Well, thank you very
Thank you so much
We
for
look forward
coming.
to working
Thank
with
you.
Thank you. And the last card that I have is Art Racklin.
From Glendale Arts Association.
Good afternoon. My name is Art Racklin, as you said, and I represent Glendale Art Association. I'm the president, and we've been in business since 1922 as Glendale Art Association in the city of Glendale. We have about 80 members, and we meet once a month in Glendale and talk about painting. We have demonstrators and so forth. I called Glendale Arts several weeks ago to see if they could help us with finding a couple of locations so we could have some art shows, like a couple art shows a year. And they gave us 2 locations, but it was $50 an hour. And we're a nonprofit group, and we just couldn't afford that. So I contacted Laura Friedman, the councilwoman, and I had a meeting with her about that because I had read in the paper how she's so interested in finding places and for to display art and so forth and so on. And so she said, well, I think what you should do is go to Arts and Culture and ask them if they would agendize your request to have maybe 2 sites a year where we could have shows, annual shows for our artists. I mean, the toughest thing for an artist is to show their work. And I mean, I know there's a lot of artists in the community, but I just represent this one group. I'm sure that if City Council votes to have some of these other places opened up to hang art, that other people will be able to do it too. But I'm just here for my group, and I would appreciate if you'd take that into consideration. And I don't have any slides or exhibits.
How many artists do you have in the organization?
We have
How
about
big is
80 artists.
80 artists. I don't know if you have heard, just recently we have started temporary art galleries programs, vacant storefront
I knew they were going
project.
to.
And if you like to send me the portfolios or information about the artists who would like to be part of that project,
Sure.
we will look into it. I think that's a free space for artists to participate and show their work.
Okay,
That will be one way of doing it.
sure.
Could you tell us some of the places over the years where you've done your shows?
Well, we just did a show in the Galleria across from Nordstrom's at a store called Local Collection. We were there for 1 week. It was just a fortuitous thing that we got to do that. Somebody just happened to see this place and went and talked to somebody and told me about it, and then I talked to the manager. Mostly we are either at a bank, like Citibank in Montrose, or we're at La Cañada Library. Those are the two main places where we are able to go. So we're trying to expand a little bit, and that's why I've come to...
Have you not been able to show in the Glendale libraries, or have you not asked by now Brand or the Central Library?
No, well, I've only been president since
okay.
September, so I don't... Yeah, but I've been a member for 7 years. We've never shown there. So
Okay.
I assumed that somebody had tried to show there, and we couldn't, or they wouldn't allow us to, or for some reason we didn't do it.
Do you participate the Open Studio Tour project?
We did do the studio tour when they had that.
Yeah, we're going to have one this year too.
Yeah.
So
The studio tour, the last time we did it, they had buses coming around, and we had it at one location, and not too many buses showed up with too many people on it, and it didn't seem it was very successful.
Well, the other side of the project is that every participant's artwork shows at the Brand Library for about 1 month. That's a very good thing for every artist.
And we did that. We did that as part of that tour. Yeah.
I have two
Commissioner
questions.
Thurman, go ahead.
Thank you. Number one, when you approached Glendale Art, they said that they'll charge you $50 per hour. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Okay. The second question I had is that in collaboration, if you want your art presented, if it's a collaborative effort with the commission, would it be also reviewed and previewed, the artwork, or how do you want it done?
Well, we do it both ways. For instance, we're going to have a show at the La Cañada Library, and it's going to be a juried show. So somebody's going to come in and by category go through and say, we pick this as the first place, second place, best of show, so forth. Sometimes we'll have a show we don't have it juried, but we could do it either way.
My question was not a jury to decide which artwork is nicer, better, or whatever. The idea is that to be able to curate it or to present it to the public, if, let's say, it's in collaboration with Glendale Art Commission, is it sort of, would people within our board make a decision on which of the art pieces should be presented or put on display, or how does it work? Because, we can give you different areas, give locations, so you go and, talk to them and see how you can do your presentation. But if it's a collaborative effort with the Arts and Culture Commission, then somehow I do believe that there needs to be some kind of a previewing of whatever
you want
there
to
is.
select which
Kind of, not really, but to make sure that it is
we
within
could
the
do that.
jurisdiction
We've
of the
never done
city.
that before. We've never had anybody say, well, this piece of art will be able to be shown in this one.
Yeah. Okay.
That's never occurred to me before, but I guess it could be done.
Commissioner Wagner?
I would just say that my guess is that this is more demonstrated need for the policy that's
was
in
going
motion
to
now
say-
with the city
Right.
to develop this
For
this
I
movable
know the
feast, but
city-
also for us to raise the issue again of what are there venues that we could encourage for use? I don't know that we'd need to be involved in, but I guess we don't want to get too far into discussion.
No, the city is considering that, and they haven't voted on it yet, I don't think, and that's why Laura Friedman said to come here.
Yes.
And that's why I'm here.
Commissioner Deaver?
Thank you. It helps our message.
And actually, this might be a question for staff with regard to the policies that you raised. And this is different than the art and vacant storefronts. Actually, it's a policy that's going through the attorney's office for display in
That's
public places.
for parks and parks facilities.
Parks and parks facilities.
Temporary display
That's
of
the
art
idea.
in parks and parks facilities. And we're very close. It's still in a last stage of getting approved. Once we have the policy and the guidelines, then we will start publicizing, announcing the opportunity for artists to apply. That's another way of showing your work, and it's going to be for free.
And the question I have for that for staff is there the potential for that to extend to other public facilities outside of parks? And will there ultimately then be a list of opportunities? And I'm thinking, for instance, we have public buildings, we have this room, we have City Hall, which I know is being renovated. I don't know if those plans are, but I think there are a lot of unconventional opportunities that could be curated.
Sure.
And I'm wondering if that will
What I can say at this time, it was our intentions were to develop a policy for parks and parks facilities, but all other public spaces related with art displays has to be consistent. So even if we have to develop a new policy, it will be very similar with mild changes.
Great. And
I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
but this was intended to be for the parks and parks facilities,
Okay.
indoor, outdoor, but it's a community and it's for public viewing, so some of the sections of that policy will be used for all other areas related to arts.
Great. Yeah, I think it'll be terrific once we see all of that to take that next step in being comprehensive as a city to examine all the opportunities, because this is just the tip of the iceberg for this organization. I'm sure, I know we have a...
When I met with Laura Friedman, just coincidentally, there were 3 pictures hanging in the lobby there, which were donated by one of our members.
Stephen?
Vince Takis.
Oh, Vince Takis, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
In the interest of time, if there are...
Yes, we need to move on.
We do need to move on. Thank you very much, Mr. Racklin.
Thank
you so much for coming.
Thank you. We'll keep in touch. We will
Next
send
item,
you,
please.
information
Item 5,
about the
business agenda.
approval. We have
5A, action items. At 5A1, selection of Glendale winners of Bob Hope Airport Tower Banner Competition.
Well, the Bob Hope Airport Authority started the Tower Banner competition back in 2008, I believe, or 2008, 3 years ago. 3 years ago, in an effort to connect the schools, the districts, and the community, and encourage young artists to create. Since then, all 3 districts, Glendale, Pasadena, and Burbank, are participating in this competition, where high school students from 9 to 12th grade, am I correct with my information, are invited to participate in this contest. Now, the top 3 entries from each school district are presented to the Arts and Culture Commission of their district for final selection of the winner, and the winning art piece will be enlarged and displayed on the tower of the Bob Hope Airport for a period of approximately 3 months, where it will be seen by travelers and airport visitors. Mary Lamassa, the Educational Service Administrator of the Glendale Unified School District, is here, and Miss Lucy Bergdorf from the Bob Hope Airport Authority Community Relations Manager.
Thank you so much. you have the hardest job. So I would like to thank you for allowing us to come to you and you do the selection. The theme for this year was the joy of flight. This started out before December. Information went to the high schools. Later in the year, February, high schools were able to choose 5 entries to come down to the Glendale Unified School District. And on February 25th, we had judges judge 14 students. And here we are today where you are going to pick the first place winner that will go on the tower banner, as the tower banner, the second and the third place winner, and all 3 winners will be displayed in Terminal B as part of this event. So what we have for you is we have 3 of the 3 finalists, and you get to choose.
Okay. So I'm guessing we're going to follow the same procedures that we did last year.
You did last year.
Okay. Where we give each one an arbitrary number, and then we decide which one is first, second, and third. We have 2 sets of numbers. We'll give them the letters this year. It'll be easier. So we'll start with Commissioner Lee's.
Could you hold up?
And that would be Exhibit A for Mr. Krinsky.
You have to do it.
Okay, I have different numbers assigned.
Yes, that will help.
So, yeah.
So A,
No, they got it.
Yes.
that is our A, okay.
Oh, okay. There's already.
Will they focus better?
We have numbers already.
There's already
I
numbers.
gave numbers already.
Okay. Staff has again forwarded my
Okay, if you want to keep this for your records, this
efforts
is how
to
I
make this
numbered
easier.
for them and gave them
And,
the criteria.
has already assigned
So
numbers.
this
to
is
them.
number 3.
So that correct. I guess we'll do them in reverse order. Yes.
Was the,
If you want to use those as a reference also.
did we use this form last time?
No, we did not.
I didn't think so.
No, we did not.
So that came from,
This is new. Yes, from them.
came from,
Right.
this was your,
The criteria.
the rubrics
Yes.
that you used.
Yes, we created a rubric because there are special criteria that needs to be met to go on to the tower. So we made this a rubric so that we are sure that it can be viewed by the public.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll return back to the yes.
I think
Commissioner
it would be better if they would hold it so we could see it. We could all see it equally with the same thing.
That'd be fine.
That's fine.
Sure.
Can I make one comment? I just want to emphasize that the winning banner will hang on our tower, and the dimensions are, let's see if I get this right, 17 feet by 26 feet, so that it will be seen from afar. So keep that in mind. I just wanted to make that point.
Thank you.
Okay.
So this is
Okay, number 3. Yeah, let the camera catch it. Okay, beautiful.
This is number 3, that's number 2, and number 1.
Right. Okay. And then, so let's have the camera go to number 2. And, well, 2 and 1 at the same time.
So this is number 3, the last one?
That's number 3.
So 1, 2, 3.
Yes, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
It's fine. It's fine. It's not the music
Yes,
quality.
closer.
Okay. So I'm guessing because this was in our agenda and we've taken a look so carefully, should we start with, let's do a roll call and then just pick up the numbers of which one goes first and second and third.
Okay, so
Commissioners Deaver,
I'm sorry, I need a better explanation of what we're doing.
So what we're doing is
for
we
this.
basically have to, we have to
Choose
the winner that gets the most votes for first place gets to be presented
on the tower.
on the tower.
Okay.
So they would tally, each one say one.
What the, do we
So the
provide the
quick-
total, our total score for each of these numbers?
Yes, that's why you
Well,
had
it's
3.
first, second, or
Just for
third.
second or
Yeah.
third?
The quickest way is, for example, let's say you like that one, the first, second, and third. So you just say 1, 2, and 3 in that order when we're voting.
Okay.
Or 3, 2, and 1. Just give 3 numbers
Got it. In order.
in order of
Thank you.
what you think is first, second, and third.
Right.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Great.
To understand the criteria.
I read it all very carefully. It was very helpful.
Filled it out
actually.
with
Thank
numbers
you.
and everything. It's
I was hoping everybody will come already prepared with the numbers.
Right. Okay, so roll call, please.
Commissioner Zever?
Yes. Oh, you need the numbers. I'm new to this. I'm sorry.
Right.
Okay, so in order of number one is number 1. Number 3 is number 2. Is this making sense?
Right.
And
Second place.
number 2 is number 3.
Perfect.
Hold on. And
Commissioner de Hovhanessian?
The same order, number 1 is 1, number 3 is 2, and number 2 is 3, and number 3 is 2. So
So 1, 3, and 2.
1, 3, 2.
Commissioner Lee?
Same thing, 1, 3, and 2.
Commissioner Wagner?
1, 3, 2.
wow.
This has never happened.
It's going to be unanimous. I have no idea how this worked. There may be some Brown. No, I'm kidding. Brown Act violations. No, I'm kidding.
We have not colluded.
Right. Exactly. Wow.
So yours is 2?
Yeah, mine is the same.
Okay.
So that's it.
So our tower banner.
Yes.
Very good.
Would you like
Can
to
we now
announce the
hear
name?
who it is
Yeah.
and from?
Daniela Downey
Danielle
comes from
Downey.
Glendale High School.
Oh,
The last name is
12th
Daniel.
grader.
wow.
Our second place winner.
Would you like to step back to the mic so that we can?
Our second place winner is Christina Padilla, and she is from Crescenta Valley High School.
Oh,
She's in 11th grade.
11th grade. And our third place winner is Julio Stomayer. He's an 11th grader, and he is from Glendale High School.
Great.
congratulations to all three. Good job.
Really wonderful.
Yeah, first place again.
And I want to thank you all for participating.
We enjoy that.
Thank you.
It's such a treat to go to the airport and see the artwork up there, even from the other cities. It's a wonderful, and it was your idea, wasn't it? What a great gift to all of us and to all the students and schools who participate.
So our first place winner comes from Glendale High School, Daniela Downey.
And the high school will get something, don't they?
20.
Well, actually, yes. The airport authority presents a check to the Glendale Unified School District in the amount of $2,500 with the stipulation that the money is to be used to enhance and promote the arts in the Glendale Unified School District. So this will be our third year doing that. Of course, not just in Glendale, but Burbank and Pasadena. And we're very happy to do that. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much.
Very good idea, yeah.
And thank you for providing the rubric.
Great way to promote art in the students and the community. Thank you.
Our passengers love it.
Yes.
We have several. We have not only the large display in Terminal B on the wall, it's about 14 feet wide, but in the entrance of the terminal, we have a display stand with the same reproduction and an explanation of the art program, as well as in the hallway of Terminal A, so that anywhere you're in the airport, you will see it and you can read about it, because we do get questions, what is that banner up there?
It is amazing how students' work usually is being appreciated by community. Because if you have a well-known or renowned artist's work, it's taken for granted. But when it's a student's work, it just touches everybody, and they love that. That's wonderful. It's a great thing to do.
And all three pieces from each district this year have been beautiful. They just have projected so magnificently on our tower. And so we're very, very happy with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. Next item, please. Oh, yes.
Lady.
Are we okay with the time?
It's about 3:15. Yeah, yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah, can we do it at the end? Yeah. Okay, let's do it. We'll save it for the end. Okay. So next item, please.
At 5A2, approval of the 6th annual Open Studio Tour Day.
Okay. At
Very
the last
quickly.
commission meeting, very quickly, yes. This is a short one. At the last commission meeting, this commission approved our sixth annual Open Studio Tour project and the exhibition dates at the Brand Library Art Galleries. What we need to do at this meeting is to approve the actual studio tour date. As I mentioned in my report, on July 18th, there is a major event. Cruise Night is a very big, important event in our city. So we have to finalize the date either 1 week before the Cruise Night or after. So it's totally up to you.
Okay.
I would nominate to elect for the 25th, because I do want to be there, and for, like I said, on the 11th, I will be at Echo Park for the Lotus Festival, the 10th and the 11th, the whole weekend.
Okay. Any other suggestions, or? Well, are you making a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion.
Okay. Okay. So.
Second?
Okay. So roll call.
Well, we can discuss. You discuss after, if there are any.
Yeah, I didn't sense that there was any discussion.
I can't, the last time we did it was the Sunday or was the Saturday?
It was a Saturday.
We had moved it to Saturday, I thought, and I thought we liked Saturday.
It is Saturday.
But to do it a day before the Cruise Night, you mean?
No, to do it not Sunday the 25th, but Saturday the 24th. My recollection was that that the surveys came back and we all liked the Saturday.
I think it was Sunday, but I can double check. Okay. It really doesn't matter. One day won't make a big difference for me. So if it's Saturday, then we'll start planning for a Saturday.
Go ahead, Commissioner Eber.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for, I wasn't part of the previous discussions, but I think that a Saturday makes sense in terms of being able to maintain people's sort of interest in being in the community and going to restaurants afterward, and it just seems like that would be a better day than a Sunday when people have lots of other commitments.
So I amend my motion to recommend for July 24th.
24th, Saturday.
And I amend my second.
Okay.
Great.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioners Deaver,
Yes.
Chair Hovhanessian,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Wagner,
Yes.
Chairperson Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Thank you.
Why not? Alrighty. Next item on the agenda, please.
5B reports, information only. At 5B1, update on the Man's in Humanity to Man event.
Okay, I will have a short, brief report. Since the commission meeting packets were sent out, there have been some updates and changes. The venue for this year's Men's in Humanity to Men event is the Central Library. The venue for this, and we will have two events, one on Monday, April 19th. The date was changed from Tuesday to Monday, so the council members will be able to attend. And the second event will take place on Thursday, April 22nd. The subcommittee has been meeting regularly, and they have made major progress at last week's event. I will let Arlette to talk more in details about what has been done. But I just want to say that we will have the subtitle for this year's event, Men's in Humanity to Men, is Awakening. The topics of the programs will include modern-day slavery and trafficking, human trafficking. We have, maybe I shouldn't go into the details, even though we have programmed Thursday's event and know the presenters, very exciting program, group of professionals, but I will let Arlette to talk about more on those items.
Well, we would not give too many details today. The fact is basically to have an overview of what's going to happen. The first night, which is going to be Monday, we are going to have music and poetry. And on Thursday, we are going to have drama and presentations and interactive communication with the people who are present. And on the topic chosen for the second night event, which is Thursday, is going to be about slavery and women trafficking and trafficking altogether. because the pain and suffering endured by the people who go through that is very similar to whatever people go through genocide, even though the sources and the means are different, that causes. And we have great presenters. We have university professors, deans of different departments who are going to be there, and we have great actors and presenters, which all the details will come later on. The first night when we have the poetry and music, needless to say that Arman is going to conduct that night for us, the whole thing, and we have the choir, which is going to be an ensemble of different groups of people. He's collecting the best from different community colleges. He tries to make it fresh and young also. So we are going to have a wonderful presentation, and his work is very heavy in this event that we have, because he's supposed to read all the poetry that we have chosen, and then based on the poetry chosen, he's going to go to what the music that is almost close to what causes and gives that emotion, which I do believe it's a very hard thing. My kudos to you. So he's going to do that. But the interesting thing is that all of that should happen within tonight and tomorrow morning, because we have such a short deadline. Since we don't have money this year, it was very late when we became part of this. It was told that they want us to be part of this major event. So we need to have our flyers ready, because if we don't have it ready by tomorrow, then we have to find sponsors to pay for it and print it and disseminate it. So that's, since city is doing all of that, we need to get in their timeline. So we are going to get everything ready. So needless to say, that Ripsime has to work most probably till tomorrow morning to get all of this that is going to be emailed. And all the committee members, the MIM committee members, are phenomenal. We have recruited Armina Lamana, who was here last time. You have to see how she recruits people in the community and how she gets us in touch. I was telling Commissioner Deaver that we were almost going to get George Clooney to talk about Darfur. It was like, because he has a vast kind of touch with the whole world all around. She's too young, but it doesn't seem that she's dynamic. And we have Lilith Harutyunyan, who is phenomenal into getting words from all over the world who contact, and then they decide who would read their part of the whatever they have written about this topic that we have chosen. So everybody is working very, very hard, day and night almost, to get everything ready and on time. I'm very proud of our group, and I'm very proud that our commission has taken upon itself to go for the MIM and supported us and supports us whenever we need any kind of help on this. So the rest of the details and etc. we'll have it ready, because we are rehashing still some parts of it. We might, as this is last minute conversation at 1:00 before I came here, that we might even add the event of the Sunday that happens at the Central Library as a prelude to whatever we are going to be doing for our event. But that's not finalized, so that's why I'm not discussing the details again, because it's in conjunction. It's very close to the topic. So this is wonderful, and hopefully next year we'll start from month of May to plan for next year's April, because there's so much happening in the community that we can use all the resources to make it a major event of including everybody that is around us who would like to be part of it. So this is basically all I can say. So, and we have also Elizabeth Grigorian, who has joined us. So we have Farzad Cohen, who was from last year. We have Galus Godal, who does a phenomenal job also. He's with us. We have Ripsime, who does major everything we need to do. Alicia is helping us tremendously, and with Lilith Harutyunyan and Armina Lomana. Elizabeth Grigorian is also the community outreach person from the Central Library, who is also screening and looking into whatever there is possible as far as the different pieces of poetry to be included. She has done great work within the last 2 sessions that she has joined us. So I think I've mentioned, and Arman, as I talked about, and we are all there. Sometimes we are all on each other's case because we try to have everything ready and fast, but it's a major job. I know he's pointing. Well, when you become the chair, that's why I always avoid to be one. I like to be more playful, but when you take the responsibility, you have to take it seriously.
Now I learned my lesson. I should never allow you to be chair of anything.
Well, we get the job done, and we'll have the best, trust me. So I'm very, very happy that this commission is involved. As a commissioner, I'm happy that we are involved, and as a chair to the MIM committee. I'm very proud of what we are going to present, and I'm very proud of our councilmen who really, with their vision, decided that we need to be part of the main event. So they have included us in the main event. And actually on their agenda, we are the first topic that is being discussed. They have been very supportive in everything we need. And so we need to make a long list of other things we need. So I could talk to Mayor Quintero and Aaron Najarian. And Zizet has been great help also. So, and all the great leaders of the tribe who are in that big committee. So thank you to all of you. And hopefully next month we don't have the meeting, do we? Commission meeting?
As it shows on our agenda, it was originally going to be canceled. I have to apologize. I made a mistake. I thought April 22nd is our third Thursday. That's why I thought there is no way for us to have the meeting. But just today, me and Miriam find out that this month has a five weeks, and actually our third week is on the 15th. But it will help us tremendously if we just cancel next month's meeting. If we keep it the way it is right now.
So that means not to have it on the 15th.
Correct.
That's fine. It's just if we have it, I would have the committee members here to present, to show, introduce them to the community, and if they have a word or two to say. And I would have even like to have maybe Zizet to come and talk about the main event also in our, because every venue has its own people who are watching them, and
you mean the presenters go? I'm sorry for
to just come, so we would introduce them to the community. So
to our meeting,
to our
commission meeting.
If we would have
No, she's recommending that we keep the meeting.
If we do. I mean, I'm not that keen because we can take care of it.
We can thank them after the fact.
Yes. We can decide later on. That's a topic that we don't need to have it on the dais. We will decide on that. It would be fine if we could have it.
Can we, Michael? We need your help.
You what?
Should
they can make a decision after the meeting? And change the decision about are we canceling the meeting or not?
It's up to the commission whether they want to hold a meeting. If it's available, then they certainly can hold the meeting.
Right.
And the chair can decide that.
Okay. So could I make a motion?
No, you cannot make any more. You were under reports anyway to begin with.
Okay.
So we can't make any kinds of motions. What I will do is, just to give all of my colleagues a heads up, I will talk to Herbsman in detail, and then we'll decide. And if there's any
later
changes, well, I can't do it right now.
Okay.
So subsequent to this meeting,
okay.
I will be in touch with Tripsman, and we will let all of you know the feasibility. Really, it's a feasibility issue, not a should we have it or should we not? Flip a coin.
Okay. Could I say this then one thing? The only reason that I know that we are extremely busy, all of us. We are needed to do a lot of things to cover and to have things ready. But yet I thought this would be the last boost for presenting the idea to the community. So I thought as a kind of a promoting the event, it might be good. That's the only reason.
Right.
Otherwise,
right. And I will take that into consideration when the time comes to decide that subsequent to.
Okay.
Okay. So, in the interest of time, any kind of questions from my colleagues before we move on? Okay. Let's move right along to the next item.
At 5E2, creation of Glendale Creates initiative.
Okay. Creating and adopting an initiative called Glendale Creates was suggested by Commissioner Deaver and requested to be on the agenda for further discussion. I think this is a very major idea, and I will let you talk about it. It's your...
I'll try to articulate as well as I can. I actually brought some copies of some information that I had pulled off of the Denver Arts and Culture. They have an entire arts and cultural department, so they have a lot of resources and a great website. And I also pulled off some stuff from our redevelopment agencies, Think Glendale, the economic development arm of that, which also highlights arts and culture as an economic tool for the city. And another thing, actually, that had come up really recently, there was an article in the Glendale News Press, I don't know if you all saw, like on March 13th, was sort of highlighting some of the initiatives that are happening, but I think it also highlighted the challenge that the city has in articulating what we offer in terms of arts and culture, both in initiatives and organizations, and how we support our artists. And I just think that it would be great if we could find a way to have an initiative under which all of these things could be put, like an umbrella, where a city official or a staff or anybody could say, here's what's happening in the arts. We're doing this Creates Glendale initiative that the city can back in some way as a program where they can, if I can articulate this appropriately. And I mentioned Create Glendale or Creative Glendale or Everybody Creates Glendale, something where if the city could adopt a position about how they want to support and promote the arts activities in the city. And so it's not necessarily something of the Arts Commission, but it's something that could be in conjunction with the website, Ripsame, that you're working so hard on, which I think will go a long way to be able to communicate these things. But I think if we could be able to say, here is this initiative, it is Create Glendale, or whatever people would want to come up with, under which all of this falls, and it's a tight, easy way for our council members and others to talk about what's happening, and opens up other opportunities for other initiatives that we're pursuing and other ideas that could follow under this, that supports our individual artists, supports our arts organizations, whether it's creating space for the arts, or it's like the arts and vacant storefronts, or it's the 1% for the arts. All of these things collectively, I think it would benefit the city well. And I just wanted to bring that up for discussion. I certainly don't have all the ideas or maybe the best ideas, but I think it's worth talking about.
Chair Kavanian and Commissioners, unfortunately, I think staff inadvertently put it under reports, but if you want to discuss this, it would have to be an action
Thank
item.
you.
I am sorry about that.
That's okay. And I know it was done in the limit of, because we have limited time and
Sure.
staff resources. So
If you do hold a May meeting, then that would be on an agenda item, then you certainly could discuss it. Not a problem in your announcing it today.
Great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
If we don't have a meeting in April, and we're still anticipating sometime soon a report going to City Council with regard to
Arts Council.
Arts Council or some future morphing of our group, it would be how might an idea like this feed into that report or that discussion at the council level, or?
Well, certainly, you can discuss this at the next meeting, and how you want to approach that too. Whether you want to make a recommendation to council.
Okay.
And you can also, you can always consider holding a special meeting if there is no meeting, next month, so that you can get this item, in front of council.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions for my colleague? The purpose of the reason why I think it was under the reports section was because I think even to begin thinking about this, number one, I would like all of my colleagues to have an opportunity to see it. Of course, I certainly did, and Ripsame did. But I wanted everybody to have time to absorb this because there's a lot of things to read. I actually went on the Create Denver website, and I was like, I didn't know what to read next and in what order. So this is a good opportunity for everyone to look into this kind of an idea, and then whatever happens next month, either they're, I mean, it looks like we should have a meeting at this point, but I mean, there's definitely things that we need to talk about. So like a special meeting or something would have to be done to make up for that. But are there any other questions for Commissioner
I think
Deaver,
we
or?
should leave it for later on, isn't it? Because if we have questions, then it would end up into
No
explaining
questions.
and discussing it.
Report only.
Well, you can ask questions as long as there's not a discussion back and forth about different ideas and so forth.
Is that correct?
Yes, you could definitely ask Commissioner Deaver some questions.
Okay. If we are going to propose such a thing to which is actually make comments. It's I can't say it's great or whatever. So, but the thing is that. Are you going to propose also how it's going to be structured, such as manpower, funding, and etc., and what needs to happen to be able to get this kind of a thing into reality?
Mm-hmm. As I have envisioned it at this step, because there is limited funding and we are not sure of what direction things might be going in, I really was envisioning it as taking advantage of the things that the city already has in place or has planned and be able to find a single, and I don't want to call it a brand necessarily because that's an entirely different world, but working with what's already there so that it's not something that's needs a whole new
But you have
funding
a plan.
pool and at least the starting phase. Yes.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. All right. With that, we'll go to the. Actually, Mr. Grant, should we handle the oral communication that we have left after commission staff comments or after?
Within your discretion, Chair, if you want to reopen oral communications, you can at any point.
Let's do that very quickly. Then what I'll do is I'll revert back to item 4, oral communications, for one last oral communication.
Hi, I'm Carmen Flores, and I just came here today to invite you to a arts and crafts show that I'm going to be putting on at the Glendale Civic Auditorium on May 15th. And we're going to have 75 vendors, and I have some flyers, some postcards to pass out. It's free. It's open to the public. There is parking in the structure next door for $6. We're going to be offering free goodie bags to the first 50 attendees. And it's all kinds of art. It's ceramics, glass, jewelry, and it's just a fun, creative day. And we're going to have lots of free classes, making macrame bracelets, making art out of recycled materials. And it's just a way for the artists to interact with the community. And so I just wanted to invite everyone, and hopefully you'll be able to come. It's 9 to 5 on a Saturday.
What day?
May 15th.
May 15th, Saturday. From what the time?
9 to 5.
9 to 5?
9 to 5. Questions? Commissioner Deaver?
Have you put this on the community calendar through Glendale Arts?
No, I haven't.
You might want to visit their website because they're trying to keep a calendar of all events that are happening in the area, and you can sign on and create something for your
Glendale
organization.
Arts?
Glendale Arts.
Okay, I'll look that up. Great. Well, thank you.
And also, I think you can contact our information department. We did the same thing with Python Theater Dance right a week before their event to help them promote their event. It's a Glendale event. So you can do the same thing. I'll find out more and I'll give you.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. Any other questions?
So are you Red Rabbit?
I'm Red Rabbit. I'm a part of a group of, we started out as glass blowers, glass workers, and we said, let's put on a show. So this is actually our 4th show, the first time at this Glendale Civic Auditorium. Previously, our last show was at Descanso Gardens in December.
She was here, if you remember, last December.
That was me. So hopefully this will become a semi-annual event, with our next show being December, also at the auditorium. So.
Is there a way that you would be interested, or you could come if we arrange for you to do some activities for the students and after-school programs?
Absolutely, because that's what we do. We really do. We want, and you can make inexpensive things. It's all about being clever. So absolutely, I would be totally interested.
Would there be a charge for that?
No.
Then let's talk after the meeting.
Great. Okay.
The spring break is coming up, and we want to have lots of fun activities for art, and we can include you for different sites.
That'd be great. Okay. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much. That was fast. Okay. Moving on to the next item.
Item 6, commission and staff comments.
Okay. Which side shall I start on? Commissioner
I'll
Wagner
start.
always is the solid way to go. Commissioner
Because
staff
then I'm done.
comments.
I wanted to announce that Friday, tomorrow evening, is the Glendale Elementary Honors Orchestra concert at Glendale High School at 7 o'clock with students from all of our elementary schools. And we're mindful that we are, as a district, glad we still have arts, music in our elementaries and in our high schools, and we're working to keep it that way. Some of us attended the Bravo Awards at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion and had 3 of our arts teachers there as among the they weren't the finalists, but the part of the featured entertainment was our Glendale High jazz band from last year, who was one of the winners. So it really felt good to be a part of that and to feel like one of the districts that is trying to hold arts together. I also wanted to mention Dr. Lamassa, who was here with the Airport Banner Program, is with Alyssa Glickman chairing our Visual and Performing Arts Strategic Plan Update efforts, to which I had invited Commissioner Deaver which I'd invited her to view, and so that work is going forward. And I wanted to mention the Guild Opera event March 28th, and I don't have that flyer in front of me, but you can go on to guildopera.org to get more information. But that's another program that goes into schools with opera experiences, and they're part of our community. So thank you.
Great. Thank you for that. Anyone else? Commissioner Lee.
Okay, couple of things.
Your time's up, Commissioner Lee. Next. No, I'm kidding.
That was short. Coming up, save the date, July 10th and 11th. It's unfortunately in LA, not in Glendale, but they have a lake called Echo Park Lake. We formed a nonprofit to help the city run the Lotus Festival. So make sure you save the date, July 10th and the 11th, Echo Park Lake.
Okay. Commissioner Deaver.
Just a quick thing, and it's somewhat related and somewhat not, but it might be of interest to some. I'm in the middle of attending a conference for an organization called LINK. It's Leveraging Investments in Creativity. It's a 10-year program that was funded by the Ford Foundation nationally, and they are in their last few years, and they have convened a number of people from across the country in Los Angeles, actually, to talk about space for change, which is artistic spaces and others, and how they impact our communities and best practices for doing that. And anybody interested in those kinds of topics might at least visit their website and learn a little bit more about their initiatives. It's a very interesting organization that's really trying to spur conversation and creative thinking about that intersection between artists and space and our communities and community development.
So LINC.
LINC. I think it's link.org or .net, but if you do search, you'll find it.
Commissioner Ramanathan, anything to report?
No, well, we are so busy being in 3 different committees doing different things, so yes, I hardly catch up, and with all the full-time job that I love and adore, and nothing much. No,
Okay.
Next time.
All right. I just wanted to make several comments. Wow. This is why I'm still in college. Myself and Herbsme actually attended the High Am String Quartet concert, which went very well. It shows that even small arts organizations and foundations still thrive in Glendale, even though there's, everybody's going after, knocking on the same door, asking for the same thing. So it still shows that people in Glendale support the arts. The next thing is, in competition with what Commissioner Wagner said, the Dealey John Chamber music concert is on Friday, tomorrow night. at 8 o'clock at Zipper Hall, and they're going to be playing Beethoven, the Gross Fugue. No, it is not gross. It's just German. Yeah,
Big.
German for saying large.
Or big.
They're playing Altunian dances, the Komitas Aslamazian miniatures, and Bach Goldberg variations arranged for strings. And I've actually heard the Bach, and it's really, really interesting. It's of course it's keyboard work, but and again that's tomorrow night at Zipper Hall at the Colburn School at 8 p.m. And I think that's about it. So, next item, please.
Item 7, written communications.
No?
I'm surprised, really. I'm surprised. Next item.
Adjournment.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. On time. Unbelievable.